right. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiro Show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku has been through quite a lot. His first day with the Crystal Gems, as somewhat of a trainee, or even an initiate if you want to be specific, has been a bit of a lot. In one day, he got his first sword fighting lesson, learned a bit more of the basics, discovered that Pink Diamond is a thing. There are seemingly thousands of gems out there in the universe, and whenever he witnessed a battle with the Crystal Gems versus the Corrupted Gem, he thought Amethyst was hurt or even killed because of what happens. And he discovered that he has Pink Fire, his actual quirk. Along with that, he has also found that, this was a lot. Anyways, after getting all that sorted out, he then went back to school, and was seemingly a little bit more popular, considering the fact that he was able to at least distract, or at least catch a villain by surprise, helping a hero group. Now, that is quite the feat, especially for a little kid. Everyone is somewhat talking to Midoriya, and this is back in class. Baku is actually asking him some more questions too. Deku's quirk is a bit more flashy now, especially because it's not ordinary fire. It's a specific color. Along with that, he does also have, the shield. So he has two quirks. That is what everyone is thinking. Deku just explaining that the fire thing is a bit weird. Apparently it's a mixture of one of his dad and his mom's abilities. So I'm not really too sure on it. As he also does at least think. This means that if he's getting things correctly, he needs to ask the Crystal Gems more questions. They might know more about his mom's abilities. They've been alive for a really long time, so that does make sense. As soon as school gets out for the day, one thing would happen. Baku would come running up to Deku, and actually ask him more things about his quirk, wanting to know about this, and at least understand it more. These two, even though Bakugo beat him up and was a bit more arrogant, Baku has been getting less attention recently. The teachers actually turned their attention to Midoriya. He was already somewhat rivaling Baku in popularity, but now he's overtaken him with this whole new quirk. Bakugo, he's still Bakugo, but he's at least trying to be a bit friendlier, since he does at least want to know about this stuff. Him actually asking Midoriya if, the Crystal Gems are going to be teaching him something today, or if he's even going to go see them. Deku's saying that usually Amethyst is usually at my house, or our apartment. So, I know where she is. Other than that, I'm fairly certain that, Garnet is probably at the temple, or out doing hero work, while Pearl, I believe she's usually, I'm not really too sure. Usually she would be here, trying to at least walk me home. But today, I'm not sure where she's at. Deku at least waiting a minute. Baku actually standing there and talking with him. Until there would be a loud explosion in the distance. Deku and Bakugo seeing that, as the two would go running in that direction, wanting to at least see what hero is fighting. Now, with that being said, They would continue running, and eventually arrive at the battle, as you have Pearl versus somewhat of a odd villain. He's able to, let's see, an odd quirk. Give me a minute. Alright, I just thought about it. The villain's quirk. It is a form of muscle augmentation, but not for their own body. This quirk is called Puppeteer. You can basically create strings from your fingers and use them at a distance. However, if you do connect these strings to a person, you can attach it to their nervous system and puppeteer them, as if they were a puppet. Now, the villain is currently using another hero to fight against Pearl, and Deku is watching this happen. However, the man is a bit annoyed whenever he goes to attack Pearl and nothing really happens, as her body is made of light, so she does not have a nervous system to control. A lot of the civilians actually watching this, as she's actually just jumping around and actually just jumping from building to building, back and forth, as she would finally summon one of her spears and actually slice the strings. The hero falling to the ground, picking them up and actually jumping away with them, as she does summon a hollow pearl. And she does actually turn, throwing a spear in that direction. The person behind it all would bring their hands out to at least block or at least grab the spear out of the air. As soon as they go to touch it, this is whenever the spear would just disappear, and light, or fragments of light, would go into the person's face. Basically, these are like dust particles of light. I'm saying dust particles because they're small, but you're still able to see them. It's just that there's too many of them going into your face. So it's basically like a large flash, like a flashbang move. This is actually blinding Pearl's opponents, as the hollow Pearl would disappear, and Pearl would actually come rushing in, being able to grab the villain by the hands and actually force him to the ground, as she would reach her hand up into her gem and pull out rope, tying the person up, and actually making sure that their hands are covered, or at least tied together so that they cannot use their quirk. Even if they can use their quirk, they have very limited movement, or even possible range. Now, with that being said, Izuku is actually cheering them on, and Baku is a bit surprised. Wait, who is that? As Pearl would come walking over, telling Izuku that she's sorry that she didn't meet him at school. She got a bit preoccupied with the villain. She noticed that heroes in the local area were actually getting a bit more violent, and actually causing some robberies. All of them said that they didn't really do it. They felt like they were being manipulated. So I just caught the man. He was trying to rob a store right now. So I'm sorry about that. Deku was just telling Pearl that it's fine, and in fact it was really awesome. When did you learn how to do that? Oh, well, you have to find some non-violent ways to handle a situation. As if she would somewhat just laughed off. Deku just saying that was very impressive. And in fact, he does want to learn how to do that one day. Pearl just saying thank you. In fact, she does believe that they need to go back to the temple and actually start training. Deku and her walking off, and Bakugo being a bit more surprised. That was one of the crystal gems? Huh. She doesn't really seem to be anything special, but what was that? Super strength? No, wait, storage? Stockpile? That doesn't make sense. Um, Clones, weapons, superhuman strength and speed? As Baku just looks down, thinking about this for a second, before actually realizing something. Whenever he does look at Midoriya, he does see his shadow. But when he looks at this woman next to him, she doesn't have one. That's a bit odd. What? Okay. Now, Baku would head home, a bit confused, and at least trying to think about this, wanting to do some research himself. Now, with that being said, Deku would have headed to the temple. And, well, he would meet up with Amethyst. Her actually surprised to see him. Pearl's just saying that, well, today they're going to be doing another sword lesson. In fact, she believes that it will be a bit more easy and less complicated. Now, with that being said, the two would have headed into the temple. Pearl actually rummaging through her room and actually going through her weapons. Her actually finding a smaller sword, or at least a dagger. Something small for Deku to use, and making sure that the blade isn't all that sharp. It will at least be able to make contact with another sword without breaking, but she doesn't want to hand Deku, a 4-year-old, a sharpened weapon. Especially because she doesn't know if Deku has Rose's healing abilities. Her actually thinking about that for a second. Now, Pearl would have found Deku a smaller blade. And, well, at least hold on to it. Until she does reopen a portal and head for the Sky Arena. Her and Deku walking around and going up the stairs. As she would instruct Deku that this is going to be a bit more complicated. That is why, as Amethyst would just sit up from the stance, saying, "Yo, Amethyst is here. She is going to be doing something with you that will be a little more complicated." Amethyst is saying, "Midoriya, or Izuku. Pearl said that you wanted some help with some actual combat experience. And, well, I had my own idea." Her just saying that they're going to be doing a bit of a spar. And she does want to see where he does at least lie. "Don't worry, I'll try and go easy on you." Pearl just telling Amethyst that she better. Besides, Izuku still needs to learn about how to use his quirk. Deku at least letting out a small amount of fire, telling Pearl that he actually kinda knows how to use it. "In fact, Dad's been training me too." Pearl just looking at Steven, Izuku, asking him if, well, Hasashi really has. Deku saying yes, actually. He trains me on his days off, or whenever he has free time. That's actually really cool. Why don't we invite him here? Pearl just thinking for a second. If she tells Hasashi that, "Hey, I'm training a 4-year-old how to use swords," that might not be a very good idea. So, her at least thinking about this. Midoriya would need to be ready one day. Well, I can at least talk to him about it. Her just thinking about that. And, well, this is whenever she would just tell Midoriya that that will be fine. And Amethyst would get ready, summoning her weapon and actually telling Midoriya that she will at least make sure to keep this still, okay? As Amethyst would just throw out her whip. and Deku would try summoning his shield directly in front of him. Amethyst moving the whip upwards and actually hitting the shields, on purpose, as Izuku would go to run forwards. As soon as he does so, this is whenever he would do one thing. As soon as he gets close enough, he would have thrown out some fire. Amethyst jumping into the air, and actually moving her whip around, getting Izuku by one of his feet as she would pull forwards. Deku is not going to fall backwards. As whenever he does actually do so, he would be kind of confused for a second, as he's somewhat floating in the air. Pearl actually a bit more surprised, along with Amethyst, as Deku slowly lowers to the ground. Now, after that happens, Deku would have just asked what that was, before Amethyst comes back in, saying that he should stay focused. Pearl telling Amethyst that she needs to stop, right before Amethyst actually does rush in. And she does one thing. Whenever she gets close enough, she would flick Deku on the nose as Deku goes to breathe fire, her jumping back upwards into the air, messing around with Izuku. Pearl getting a bit angry, and yelling at Amethyst that she said to stop and that this is actually somewhat serious. He has another one of Rose's abilities. These two somewhat getting mad at each other, and actually thinking more. Now, with that happening, eventually, Greg would have called. Pearl actually picking up the cellular phone, as Greg called it, and answering, saying hello. Hasashi just asking if Steven is with them. Steven. Izuku. Her saying that yes, he is. Hasashi asking if he can talk with him. Pearl handing over the phone and Deku talking with Hasashi. Hasashi asking if Deku is ready for their, training. He was able to get off of work early, and he thinks that would be really fun. Deku just saying yes, he is. In fact, he's actually training with Pearl right now. Hasashi a bit confused, asking exactly what they're doing. Deku just saying that, right now we're in a place called the Sky Arena. And, I was training on how to use my quirk and my shield. Before Deku would open his mouth to say, along with the fact that Pearl's been sword training me. And Pearl would somewhat just snatch the phone away. As soon as Deku would go to say that, her just saying that she's also been showing, Izuku how to do some skills. Along with actually asking Hasashi how would he feel about, his son learning how to use a weapon. Someone saying that a bit hastily. Hasashi just saying that that's not really a good idea. He's only a kid. I think you should wait till he's older. Steven. Izuku actually just messing around with the blade, as he does at least look at it in the air, thinking that this is a bit odd and, cool. Now, after that, Pearl would have actually gone back to the temple and see Hasashi. Her actually opening a portal and bringing him to the Sky Arena. Him actually a bit more intrigued by this place. He just thought about the coolest album cover. Now, with that being said, he would at least walk up the stairs and see Midoriya. Him and Amethyst sitting in the stands, actually eating. As Midoriya would do one thing. He would get up and actually ask his dad, what's he doing here? Him just saying that he's actually, talked to Pearl. Apparently she's been teaching him how to do some things, and I'm at least happy as he would look at her, saying that she was honest, somewhat giving her a dirty look. before saying that, listen, if you're going to be using, well, weapons and things like that, at least let me be here to supervise you. And, well, as he would look at Pearl, asking her if she even has a first aid kit, in case something happens. Her just taking a sigh, and looking into her gem, trying to think for a minute, as she would pull out one, then another, and then another, saying that she's always prepared in case of emergencies. Masashi at least asking if she has anything for deep wounds. Her saying yes, she does. Before Hasashi would have looked back at her, saying okay, well then, as he would stand back up, walking over to Pearl saying that you can teach him about his gem abilities, and I can teach him how to do his fire, or use his fire, as long as you at least help me with this place. I'm looking around, saying that if you help me come to this place and help my son train, then, well, as he would somewhat just think for a second, would that really be a good idea? As he would somewhat start whispering with Pearl, saying that she can take him on his first mission soon. Her actually a bit surprised by that. Now, after that happens, she would just say that she's not really sure that would be a good idea. And if he does go on a mission, then exactly what next? Besides, we don't even know if he has Rose's healing abilities. Let alone her other powers. Like, he showed off the, well, slowing your descent earlier. Greg looking at her and asking her exactly how to show that off. And with this just saying that whenever she was sparring with him, she pulled one of his legs up into the air. He was going to go catch it, but he just slowed down. Hasashi just adding that to the list of things that he can do. Saying, okay. Now, with that being said, let's see. Deku and Hasashi would begin to train, as Pearl would just watch this happen. Deku at least having a bit of fun. Him being taught more about breathing control and how to properly regulate his breath, so as to not make himself lightheaded and other things. Along with being told by Hasashi that if he wants to work on it better, then he has to increase his lung capacity. Take a deep breath in, then try and take a deeper breath. Just keep taking breath in and then let a loud burst out all at once. Deku actually doing so. Him looking up into the air and actually being to let out a loud burst. This being a very, very large one. As Deku would have actually just started coughing and actually be a bit lightheaded after that. Pearl at least looking at this, and remembering that day whenever her and Rose fused. She would have been a bit more yikes about that. And just think. Okay, so that does at least work. Now, with that being said, Hasashi and Izuku are sparring. And one thing would happen. Pearl would just say that was perfect, but still. She believes that he should just keep working on his abilities, because this is going to be getting a lot more difficult. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that's a good part to leave, a good note to leave this off of. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.